Hello guys, welcome to Online Web Tutor presented by Profotech Solutions team. I am Sanjay. We are learning Laravel Admin Panel Development Beginners tutorial and this is our part number 27. Inside this video session guys, we will create students and save to our database table. And also guys, if you are a beginner to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe and keep watching our previous video sessions to get the clear concept about Laravel Admin Panel Development tutorial. So basically guys, so far what we have done, if you go to the browser, inside this, as we can find that we have all previously done about the listing like list section, list classes, inside this faculty called list types, list faculties, and also inside this students we have done about list students. So all these listings we have completed, but now along with these listings we have done about the add section, about the add class, about add type, and finally in the previous video session we have completed about add faculty. And inside this video session guys, we are going to complete the last section is about called add student. After completing this section, we will move on the edit and delete part. So if we go on list sections, as we have made about the edit and delete button, but right now it is not functional, so we will make in our upcoming videos. So let's get started about adding student. So if you go to the route, this is the layout so far we have developed, but this is not functional because right now we have not coded any code for that. So what we want to save all the students created by this form to save inside the table called TBL students. So we want to insert all those records inside this table. So if I back to editor, and now inside this is web.php file which contains all of our routes configuration. So scroll down, this is the route that we have created for adding a student. So inside this route there is a method called add student which uses student controller. So let's open up the controllers called student controller. So this is our controller. Inside this controller, so if I search for add student, and now this is the method. So what basically we want, if you go to the list students, add a student, so back to our research panel. So inside this, right now as we can see that the drop down, this is the only drop down that we need as the dynamic value. So back to our resource folder, and inside this resource folder we have a file called add student, and this is the file. Inside this file what we have is static is about genders. So first of all we have to make as dynamic. Go to controller, let's say that use app, let's say models. Inside this models we have a gender model. By the help of this gender model we are going to take all the genders from our table. So let's say gender, and it should be all active, means we want to fetch all the genders which has a status of 1. And finally let's use about the get method. I'm going to pass this variable inside this an array. So let's say that genders, and this is the variable. So basically this gender contains all the values what we have stored inside our table called TBL genders. Back to database structure, this is the table. So if I open a new tab, it contains right now 2 values which has a status of active. So we want to populate all these values. Back to editor, go to our HTML page, and let's say that if I remove all these things, and let's say that if count genders, it means that we have some values inside this variable. In that condition, let's say if in that condition we need to populate by using our for each loop. So let's say for each, this is all about genders, let's say index, and finally we have gender, and finally let's say int for each. Inside this loop I'm going to add, let's say option, and here we have to put about, let's say that just I'm going to copy this gender, put it here, and it contains a column called type. So let's say that gender type. If I copy this syntax, pasting inside this value option, and this is all about its ID. And also we need to make the first letter should be capital because it contains M and F of the first letter, it is in small case, so we want to convert it into capital case. So let's say that cut it from here, let's say UC first, and pasting it here. So if I save this file, go to browser, reload this page, and inside this section as we can see that this is populated dynamically from our table. Now we have to save this data to our table. So for that we need to add some parameters to our form tag. So it should be first post. Let's say that action. Inside this action, we need to put our named URL parameter. So for that, let's say that route. Inside single quotes, let's say that save student. And also we are saving the student details related with our profile photo. It means that we have to add one more property inside this form and something that, let's say, ink type equal to multipart form data, because we are saving image 2 with this save data or student data. So successfully we have added all the required or needed attributes for form tag, and finally inside this form tag I'm going to add called CSRF token, which validated our form request. So let's set that CSRF and this is filled. So if I save this file, copy this name parameter, go to web.php file, and I'm going to paste and it here. Let's say that it should be post, and the route, this is the URL, something called save student. Student controller, this is all about, let's say, save student. And finally inside this name parameter, this is the name parameter that we have created. So I'm going to copy this method back to controller, scroll down, and let's say that public function, this is the function name. Inside this function I'm going to pass the request object, so request, and this is all about request. We need to import a validator class because we are going to validate our data. So for that, let's say that use validator. Scroll to our method, and let's say that validator equal to validator, this is make method. Inside this make method I'm going to pass the value and the rules. So inside these values, what we have inside this save form data, so we have registration number. So first we need to validate that. So go here and let's say that registration, let's say registration number, and it contains, or it will be in the field for, let's say, registration number. What we have next, so if you go to the file dd gender, so all it has defined called male and female, so it is not. And this is student name. So if I copy this name parameter, so something student name, it is required. So we want to put the rules, so let's say student name, and this is inside this field. And also student email, it is also required. So I'm going to copy and paste this line, and let's say that student email, this is student email. Next we go to HTML file, this is roll number, so it is also needed. Copy that, pasting it here, pasting it here. Again go to HTML page, reload here, and student phone number, so it is also required. So I'm going to copy and pasting it here. Next we have student address, so it is also required. So copy this thing, pasting it here, pasting it here. Next what we have called student photo, so it is an optional. Father name, so we want to populate, or this is a required field, so father name. Next we have called mother name, so copy, paste. Next what we have called student age, so we want student age, so copy that, and let's say that this is student age. So if we go to the HTML page, this is input type number, so basically student age should be not less than 5 years, okay, or let's say that 3 years. So these are the details that we have actually typed inside here. So we want to put all the restrictions, all the rules for all these fields here. So copy this registration number, go inside this array, and let's say that registration number, it should be required. Next what we have called student name, so copy that, put it here, it is also required. Next we have called student email, so if I copy, go here, copy and paste this line, this is required. Roll number, this is also required, put it here, Student phone, this is also required. Student address, this is also a required field. Father name, required. This is required. And finally we have student age, so copy and pasting it here. So finally we have applied all the validation rules for all fields of the form. And also you can put the rules for this student email and this registration number. It should also be unique inside our table. So this is your task to actually write the rules for the unique for this registration number as well as for the student email. I'm not going to put right here. So next what we have to do, so copy this validator, scroll down, and let's say that if validator fails, it means that we have some error. So in that condition we need to return, let's redirect. Inside this redirect we have to pass, let's say that add faculty as the same URL where actually we have reside to our form. So add a student with errors, so let's say with errors, and inside this let's say validator, and finally with input. This is our fails block. Now if successfully, suppose we have passed our form fields, so what we have to do next, we have to save all the fields to a table. So go at the top, this is the model. By the help of this student model we are going to save our data. So copy that model and let's say that student equal to new, and this is our model name. Finally, what are the keys we have in our table? Go to table structure. These are the columns called registration number. So if I copy and let's say that student registration number, inside this what we have value. So if I go here and also if I copy this, go to our slides, open up a new tab and putting it here. So all we have to copy this registration number, go to our editor, scroll down, and let's say that we are going to save this registration number. Next what we have called gender ID. So if I copy and pasting it here, so this is a gender ID. Go to HTML page, scroll up, and inside here we have called, go at the top, and this is all about gender. So copy this TT underscore gender, go here and pasting it here. Next what we have called name. So if I copy, paste this line, pasting the key, and go at slides, and this is our student name. So if I copy, go to editor and pasting all the things here. Next what we have the same column. So we have called email. So copy, paste, and we have the key something called student email. So if I copy and pasting it here, again what we have called roll number. So copy, paste. Next what we have called roll number. So copy and paste inside this request variable. Next column called phone number. So copy this column name, let's say phone number. This is student underscore phone, copy and pasting it here. After phone number, next we have address. So copy that, copy and paste this line. This is all about address. And finally we have student address. So copy and paste. Next what we have called profile photo. This is an optional parameter, so I'm going to paste a comment here. So let's say student photo. We will do code of these upload in a bit. So I'm going to upload the next fields. So let's say father name, copy, and if I copy this row, pasting it here, let's say that father name, pasting it here, and also what we have the field called father name. So just copy and pasting it here. Next what we have, so go to our table. Next we have called mother name, copy and paste. This is mother name. Next two fields about the age. So copy this column name, go here. This is age and this is age. Finally, we have a status. So copy this status column name, pasting it here and pasting it here. So if you go to the slides, this is for the name, and finally we have the key called student age for the age parameter. So this is here, and also for the status we have the column called dd underscore status. So copy and pasting it here. Finally we have to save called student and save. Let's just start to code about upload profile photo. So let's say that if, or let's say that valid images means what images or the file should be uploaded from the upload button. So the files should be something called PNG, let's say JPG, let's say JPEG, and something let's say GIF. So finally let's say that if request has file, it means that we have uploaded some file. Inside this has file we have to put the key what we have actually written here. So profile photo, and this is all about student photos. So copy this key, go here and paste inside this has file method. And finally also we need to concatenate with this valid images extension. So let's say that in array, inside this let's say that request, copy this key called student photo, pasting it here, and also let's say that extension. This is a method. This extension what we got by uploading our file. Next we have to compare our valid images array. It should return either true or false by comparing the extension with this valid images array. Scroll here, let's say that profile image, or let's say profile image equal to request, and finally we have a student photo. See, this is all about storing our value. Finally we need to change a name for that. So let's say image name, it will give the temporary name. So we need to concatenate with the value called time. This will give the timestamp, and also we need to concatenate with that. Let's say that profile image dot get client original name. By getting our name, next we need to upload our image to the folder of resources. So let's say that profile image move method. Inside this move method we need to upload that. So let's resource, inside let's say assets, images, and inside that we have a folder called student, and inside we are going to put our image name. So this time only a comma, not with the dot operator what we have done a mistake inside our previous video session. Finally let's say that uploaded image. Inside here I'm going to copy this path with the image name, pasting it here, and this time this is concatenate value to our DB table. So if I copy this student parameter, pasting it here, and what we have the column name, so something profile photo, so just copy the column name, pasting it here, and this is what we have uploaded image. Next what we have to do, we have to write a session message after saving this file. So go at the controller, let's open up the call faculty type controller, scroll down, I'm going to copy these 2 lines of code, go at student controller and pasting inside here. Only we have to change about, let's say that student has been created successfully, and we need to return on, let's say add student. And also with the HTML page, if I scroll down and if I open up add class, we need to provide some session messages. So copy this thing, go at add student page, scroll to top, let's say that this is the we need to replace that. So successfully we done all the coding for the add student page. So if I save all the files, this is the controller, this is HTML page, go at administrator panel, reload this add student page. Now I'm going to add a student. Let's say their registration number, something, a dummy value, it should be male, and let's say that Vijay Kumar, Gmail, let's say Vijay underscore gmail.com, roll number, let's say 23, scroll down, something phone number with a dummy value, address, let's say dummy address, and here also choose a profile photo for him. So this is the profile photo I'm going to upload, and this is too large. And also let's provide the father name, something let's ABC. Next we have let's DEF, student age something, it's 17 years, active. So if I click on submit button, we have successfully created a student. So go to table, browse, and if I descending order, this is the student detail that we have saved with the name of Vijay, as we can see at 101 ID. And also if we back to our folder structure to see our uploaded image, so go to public folder, resource, assets, images, and this is the folder we have created. So inside this folder, this is the image of that student. So successfully guys, we have uploaded our created student to the table, and again if I reload, submit without any data, it will provide several errors because we have applied our validation rules. And also if you go to the student list, what we have made, go at the pagination number 11, this is the student image we have provided. But we need to set these images in a proper height width, we will do in our upcoming videos. Back to slides. So if you have any doubt in this video session guys, then please drop your comment. I will give my reply as soon as possible. So for this video session guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day.